And I want to bring in Michael Zeldin now. He's a former federal prosecutor and a former special counsel for the Department of Justice. Michael, the FTC, as you heard us describe, actually cleared Facebook's acquisition of Instagram and WhatsApp in 2012 and 2014, respectively. So why are we seeing them file suit now?
It's a very good question, and I think it'll be part of the defense that Facebook mounts, saying to the government, you've approved this. You had a chance to look at it. You told us it was okay. We went forward with it. We're integrating it into our platform. And to call a do-over at this point is incorrect. What I think is going on here is that the FTC is watching this platform mature, watching this social media segment in the marketplace mature, and realizing that these companies have monopoly powers over many of the applications that we rely on every day to communicate with one another. And they're now taking a second look at this to say, well, even if we did approve this, perhaps now as the segment of the market matures, we've got to take remedial action.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting there, that point, Michael, because Instagram and WhatsApp have both grown in this time period. And when we think about monopolies and the government breaking up monopolies, it's because the company's too large. But prosecutors are actually trying to prove that Facebook broke the law. How difficult is it to win an antitrust lawsuit, and how important is that aspect to actually trying to be successful in breaking up this company?
It's very difficult. If you look at the lawsuits that were brought against IBM years ago and Microsoft over its Internet Explorer browser, these cases go on for decades. They do not end quickly. And so in some sense, these companies win by the expiration of time, where by the time something is done, it's a remedy that has really less meaning than if it could take place immediately. This is going to be protracted litigation, and these cases are not easily won, which is why they're not often brought.
Well, as you mentioned, that Microsoft case in 1998, many comparisons have been made between this Facebook case and that Microsoft case back then. Tell our viewers just a little bit more about what happened in that case and why this parallel is being made, not just because of the duration of time, but in fact, could something similar play out with Facebook?
Well, so back in the day when you were buying a PC, the way you can search the Internet was with the Internet Explorer app, which was baked into the Microsoft technology. And you had really very limited choice, or it was very difficult to use a browser other than Microsoft, the Internet Explorer one. And companies like Google and others were complaining that this was an unfair advantage to them. In this case, besides the acquisition of WhatsApp and Instagram, what is alleged, and I think which is the more serious part of this lawsuit, is that they've said that Facebook has said to third parties, if you want to use our platform, if you want to use our proprietary systems, then you have to agree in your contract not to compete with us and not to promote others who are competing with us. And so that is a much more straightforward application of antitrust law, where you are saying, if you want to access our platform, which is something that is for sure the dominant platform in the marketplace, you've got to agree not to compete against us or promote anybody else who's competing against us. I think that's the stronger part of their lawsuit, and I don't see an easy defense to that if, in fact, the allegations are as stated in the complaint.
Well, Michael, there's a lot of big tech companies, as you know, that are watching this case transpire. If prosecutors are, in fact, successful in winning this case, what do you think it could mean for the tech industry and future mergers?
Well, it'll chill future mergers, but it'll also perhaps empower the FTC and the attorneys general around the country to bring lawsuits against other tech companies like Amazon, like Google, like Twitter, many of whom are engaged in the same type of monopolistic control of their marketplace, and others, like Amazon, are moving horizontally, which means that they are acquiring businesses collateral to their primary business And that often creates easier antitrust propositions than the ones who are just unifying in their own business space, as Facebook has in the acquisition of Instagram and WhatsApp. So, for example, Amazon buys Whole Foods. That's really not, I think one could say, part of their marketplace. And that horizontal acquisition becomes another avenue by which prosecutors look to see whether these companies are engaged in anti-competitive activity by locking up ownership of markets that denies others an opportunity to enter and compete fairly.
All right, Michael Zeldin, thank you.
Thank you so much.